Well, today we're gonna work on the Ryan GA30 ride-on aerator. I had to drop Noah off at school, but we're gonna get into that, and I'm gonna film everything that I'm gonna do to it today. It's gonna be a couple different parts because there's just different things to do to it, and the videos would be too long. So the first thing I'm gonna focus on today is trying to get that old seat off there and get the new one on. That'll be our plan for today. So today's project is this seat. Now, as you can tell, it's all cracked, dry rotted, water gets in it. I mean, it's just nasty. It's hardened. They left this thing sitting outside. Real quick about this, a lot of people asked, they said they'd never seen any of these before. This is what's called a Ryan GA30 ride-on aerator. It's really nice. This whole back part is the aerator with the plugs. If you haven't, I'll show it more, and maybe in this video and then in other videos. But I showed it in the one I made a while back when I first got this, and I filmed doing all the work to it. But it's nice and simple. There's a forward and reverse pedal. There's another pedal that makes this whole back half go down, and then it starts aerating, and then you press it the other way and it comes back up. But it's pretty simple. It's pretty nice. But what these were designed for were for golf courses, for aerating greens, for aerating fairways, things like that. That's what this was designed for. So anyway, the mounts on this seat are completely different than the seat I got. This is the seat that I bought for it. It's a boat seat, and it just flips up like that, and it's your standard seat for a boat. But it was pretty darn close in color, and so that's why I got it. And I think I only paid like $40 for it on Amazon with Amazon Prime with free shipping. So the problem is, on that one there, it mounts like in the four corners, and there are holes here, but I don't know how I would actually get bolts in there to do that. But anyway, it comes with four, no, they look more like screws than bolts. But anyway, it has four holes right here, and inside those holes are threaded inserts. So I'm gonna have to get this seat off, and there's enough plate under there, I believe, that if I set this on there and I drill through the steel on there, I can run the screws up through the bottom of it into here and be done. So that's the plan. We're gonna see what happens here. So first off, we need to get this seat off. And it might be kind of hard to get in there, but we're gonna figure it out. So that's the next step. After I quit losing all these screws. So there's the old seat. The whole bottom of it rotted right off, paint peeling, the bolts half them pulled right out of it. Let me show you something here. This is a stupid design. So you would think that with it being hinged right there, that this whole part can flip up, right? And then you could get to the bolts and bottom, the springs come up with it. Well, technically it would flip up like that, but then you have this plate here. See if I can get some light in there for you guys. You have this plate right here that goes, I don't know if you guys really see that. Okay, there's that plate right there, and it goes to this piece here, which is connected to this. And I don't really see how you can flip. Oh, you know what? Somebody bent it back so it's under that tab so it can't flip up. I bet you if you bend that tab that way, this whole thing would flip up and I could access this easier. Otherwise, I'm going to have to pull these bolts off of the slide rail and take the whole thing off. But I bet you I can fold that thing right out. Okay, so it's off. I couldn't bend that tab back, but I just took the bolt out of there and slid the whole thing forward, and it came right off. So that's going to be the easiest way to remount it. And this is all it is. That's a shock absorbers on the side, and the bolts ran right in there and held it in place. But now these are kind of loose on there. That one is still on there because I couldn't get that bolt out from the other side. But these here are just going to flop. They're not going to stay in there now because the old seat, the bolt went through these and into the seat, and that's how these stayed in place. So I'm just going to get other bolts, and I'm going to bolt these back on so they stay in place, because the new one is going to mount like there, and there. there's going to be the 4 holes because of, like I said, it has the 4 center ones there. So I'm going to have to get that on here, line it up to where I need to be, and then drill some holes. This one here, probably going to leave that in there. It won't be in the way. I don't think that really even needs to be bolted to that. So I got to get some hardware now. I'm sure I got some laying around here to rebolt those on, and then we're going to set it up for this seat. Okay, that was a little bit of a chore. I had to get bolts through. I didn't want them to go through that way because I don't want them sticking out on that side and hitting the seat. So I ran them up through this way, but I had to use magnets to try to fish the nut down onto the bolt. And then once I got them in there, I just ran a ratchet and a socket down in and put a wrench in the bottom, tighten them up. So now those are tight. Those aren't going anywhere. And now what we have to do is, well, I got to get this thing off here. I think I had a 1/2 inch wrench on there. Let me see if I can knock this off there. Done. See, these bolts are all, I mean, you can see the ends of them. They're all rusted, threads are stripped, they're all like corroded because of water that got inside the seat and it ran through the seat down over top of all this hardware and screwed it all up. So now that that's done, now I should be able to just, the hard part's going to be, I got to set this seat on here and get it where I want it. And then, you know, it'll sit on there just like that. So, which is, it's about the same exact size as the other one. I just got to figure out where my holes are going to be so that I can get it just right. That is going to be, it might be a little bit of an issue, but nothing that we can't handle. So this, like I said, will sit on there like that. Man, without much wiggle room, I'll tell you that. You won't have, you know what, I'm not gonna use this strap. If I could take that strap off there, it's just gonna hit. And I'm not concerned with having a strap. So we don't need that. So now, what does it say? Temporarily protection, remove after installation. Well, alright then, how about we just remove it right now? Takes care of that. Now, what I have to do is get this on here, right about where I want it. I need to make sure that I got enough meat to drill into for the holes. That's definitely not right at all. That right there is about where I want it to be. And I should have plenty of meat. That's going to be in the way, but no, it ain't, because I'll be drilling from the other side once I get this lined up. So good thing is I can see right about where my holes need to be. So I got to be right there on that one, right there on that one. These ones here might not be as easy. See this little flashlight? These things they're made by Husky from Home Depot. They're normally like $5, $6. Ryan found them on sale like $1.25 a piece or something. He bought a bunch of them. I carry this in my pocket every day. I use this thing probably 5, 6 times a day. It's ridiculous how often I use this thing. Yellow is going to be about right there. And that one's going to be right about there. Those two will be fine. These ones I won't be able to drill from this way because it's plateless. I bend it out of the way and then bend it back. So we're just going to have to see what happens. But I'm going to drill these now and then put it back on here and we'll see what happens. drill myself some holes. I bent this tab back down so I could get to these holes from this way. Plus it'll make it so the seat will flip up the way that it's supposed to. And looks like I'm pretty good there. Might be slightly off on those back two. But that's okay because I could just drill them a little bit bigger, put washers on them, and they'll be good to go. So now that I know I'm in a pretty good spot here, I'm going to make these holes bigger, and then once I get them drilled out bigger, I can put it back on the seat and line it up, and go from there. Okay, so that's that. I got the screws in that side. This side I just had to use washers on because I had to drill the holes a little bigger, no big deal. And I screwed them down tight. And then my screwdrivers here have that type of end on it. So once I got them nice and snug with my hand, I just took this 1/2-inch wrench here and put it on the end of there and gave it another little turn, about 1/4 turn to a 1/2 turn, just to snug it up. You don't want to go too much, otherwise it'll probably strip the metal inserts out that are in there. But now it's nice and snug and that thing shouldn't go anywhere. So now we got to get it mounted back on the aerator. Now I have a nice new seat on there. The slide still works. I come forward, which I have long legs I don't need, so slide it all the way back. Flips up. It's nice and spring loaded. And since I fixed that tab, I can flip this up and get to the bottom if I need to. So nice and simple. That ought to be nice and comfortable, much better than the other one. Okay, so I know nothing real crazy today, not like a hell of a lot of stuff, but that seat was a huge important thing to me that I really need to get done. And I knew that the mounts were going to be exactly the same and I'd have to fabricate a little bit. I'm sorry I didn't show all like the drilling and stuff, but that shit's kind of monotonous. So I just wanted to show you the basic idea of what I was doing and how I had to change it, or what I had to do to make that seat work in there. I'm super happy about that seat being on there. But let me show you guys what's coming up in the next video. This is another, I mean, I got to do the oil change. I got to do the connections on the battery. I may have to replace that battery. But I got to do the connections on the battery, get them cleaned up back together with dielectric grease. There's not really too much more I have to do on this. But one important thing that I do have to do will be in the next video. And let me show you guys that. So I took the back cover off, which goes right here. This is the full mechanism. This is how this thing works, okay? As these go up and down, see they go at different rates. The center ones are the same, or this one here is the same as that one, and this one here is the same as that one. So as they go up or down, and the chains move them, they send, and they go super fast, like insanely fast. So I'll show you down here. This is all the tines, and as I move them, see how they go up and down like that? And they just plug into the ground. Now you can see how much is out here. You can undo these bolts and you can move these up and down. Now, I haven't used it on anyone's yard, as you guys know the story of this, and me getting it in the late fall, except for my own yard. And when I did, this thing pulled awesome plugs. The problem is it pulled like 3.5-inch plugs. And I don't want plugs that deep. I only want like 2.5-inch plugs max. That's all I need. I know it's different for a lot of people and they recommend certain ones, or certain depths for their areas. But for me, I want 2.5-inch plugs. It's plenty for what I'm doing. I don't need any more than that.
And that'll do everything I need it to do, because my main reason is to aerate and from the compressed soil to let air into that soil and make the grass grow thicker and healthier. But at the same time, I need holes in there so when I overseed, the seed gets down in there far enough it can establish a good, deep, strong root structure. So 2.5 inch plugs are all I need. So I have to readjust all of these, and that's what will be in the next video. If I can show you here, right there is where the shear bolts went through with the adapter sliders that go through. There's one there and there's one right here. And that's what I had an issue with. The one on this side was broken when I got it, so this just flopped. These moved up and down and the tines didn't move. So that was the issue. But I got that fixed, I believe, on that side. And this one here, I believe I've fixed as well. And now I have spare backups for if they break again. So that's about it, guys. I know this is kind of all over the place, this video, but it's mainly for this machine and the stuff I need to do to it to get it running. And there's going to be, like I said, there's going to be a ton of videos on this. Every time I go out and I aerate with this thing, I'm going to do a video on it, because like I said in yesterday's video, I don't think there's that many out there on it, or they're like 1-minute clips. And you know my videos aren't 1-minute clips. So there's going to be a lot more on it, and you guys are going to see me using this. But tomorrow, if I do make a video tomorrow, it might not be till Monday. I got a lot going on this weekend, but the next video is going to be about those tines and readjusting them tines, and I'll show you guys how I do it and how to measure for them to make sure that they're right. All right, guys, thank you very much. I will see you in the next one.